This is the Be the Solution podcast, and I'm your host, Maria Quattrone. And today we welcome our guest, Michelle Saward, Missouri. She went from growing a personal team to over 1,650 in her organization, and on average, her team closes about 200 transactions a year. Michelle is committed to growth and the betterment of others and has a strong track record for developing and elevating the careers of many who have aligned with her. She has built a reputation for opening doors for a better future. Welcome, Michelle Saward. We are so honored and grateful to have you on the podcast today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you for inviting me on to connect and chat with your audience. I appreciate the opportunity, Maria. It's good to see
Yeah,
your face.
absolutely. We're going to hit the ground running this year with the podcast and with your story. And so I opened our conversation with, how's it going? How's the new year going?
Oh, man. You know me, Maria. I'm willing to go right in there in these conversations with you. It's like when you specifically ask me that question, how's the new year going? I'm not just going to give like a typical answer of like, oh, it's going pretty good. It's the third day of the year. No, I think with you, because we're friends and we've known each other for a long time, I can be very, open. And I think that's exactly what you're looking for in these kinds of conversations on, be the solution. The new year for me has been already like very eye-opening. It's only day 3 in the new year, but I feel like I'm really getting some big insights as to, what I feel was maybe holding me back last year and what changes need to happen for going into the new year of 2024. So it's been a pretty intense couple days.
So did you get that clarity that you're so longing for?
I feel like I did. I think I had, and I'm just going right into this deep conversation with you right out of the gate because I know you can handle it. I feel like 2024 was a definite reset year for me. I'm sorry, 23 was a reset year for me. And for many people in the industry, in the real estate space, many people didn't hit the goals that they thought that they were going to hit and had to sort of recalibrate the way that they were going about business. And I did not hit the goals I initially thought that I would, but I achieved some other mile markers, which has really involved developing people in my organization and in my team, and really just started to center myself at the end of the year saying, okay, what do I want going into 2024? And quickly realized that like more, quote unquote, is not the answer. It was really just going to be found in quality conversations and quality people and quality clients. And it's just not about adding more to the business. It's about having that really enjoying the process, having that ability to really enjoy what it is that we're doing and who we're around, and finding a bit more balance in new year.
So that takes slowing down
Yeah,
to speed up.
it sure does. Yeah.
Exactly what I spoke with John about this morning.
Get out of here.
Slowing down to speed up.
That's great.
Sitting in thought, what is it that you truly want? Where do you want to go? How do you want your life to be? Because all this other stuff just ain't worth it.
Correct.
Like, so what is it that you really need? And then what do you have to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
And then most importantly, enjoy your life.
Yes. And that's, I think, for people like us that have a lot of opportunities presented to us, it's really hard to identify what it is that we really want, right? I think anyone that's presented with a multitude of opportunities, what is it that you really want? I mean, even just a robust life. You think about fitness and finance and travel and relationships and, faith and, all of these options that we have. Like, what is it that you really want? It's such a big question. And for me, one of the things that really hit was I had the chance to slow down big time in 2023. And that does allow you to hone in on where your values and your priorities and what is meaningful to you in all of those areas of life. I became a bit fearful. This is the truth. And this is what hit me like a ton of bricks yesterday morning. Fearful of that I've gone so hard in the past and pushed myself over the years. My team and I have routinely sold, my God, from pushing maybe a decade now, 200 homes a year for about the past 10 years. And last year we did not do that. And so I knew that it was time to turn up the heat again and really like go for it. But I became fearful of how that may manifest in my life. And so the fear is real because when you push yourself so hard, something is about to break. Something will break. Think about it. If you work out too hard at the gym, you could get injured, right? If you push yourself too hard and spend too much business, it can lead to family trouble, right? Your kids, your spouse, your whatever doesn't have the time or attention that they need. Friendships could suffer as a result of some of your sacrifices. Maybe you're not as connected spiritually as you would like because you've made the decision to spend your time in other arenas. So there's a lot that can be sacrificed for going for what it is that you really want. And I just started to become fearful of what price am I willing to pay for the dreams that I want. And so that's been a bit of an awakening about really deciding what price you want to pay for what it is that you want.
How does that make you feel?
How does that make me feel? I feel like just having that of what it is you would be sacrificing in exchange for the life that you want, being very, very aware of it and what it can do makes me want to rewire my thinking about that.
What do you think of this statement? Less is more.
Yeah. What did I think of that statement? Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, to be a master of anything means that you've gone deep in the work. Like Olympian gone deep in gymnastics, right? Professional basketball player has gone deep in basketball, right? They didn't go deep in, basketball player didn't go deep in
being running, a baseball player,
running and baseball and right. And gymnastics, they went deep in basketball. So that's a very narrow focus for mastery.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Correct. Right. And
so where do we sit
with that? What are you willing to sacrifice?
Where do we sit in finding what our mastery is? And it's different for everybody. And even though we have similar businesses, none of us have the same type of business because we're all unique. Okay. And so you can't just put a round peg in a square hole. Not everything works for everybody. And that's a realization that I had. I've been sitting and thinking, and last week I said, I'm tired of walking into the same wall over and over again.
Right.
And so it's not saying like you're allowed to change your mind what your mission is.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes you have to abort the mission for your own sanity.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to just take a step back, maybe several, and reevaluate and find things that you like to do that make you happy that aren't work, because we're not our work. It's just something that we do. But yet in this industry and maybe some other industries, so much of who we are becomes about real estate. And it's an interesting phenomenon that occurs. And I think that holds us back as human.
Yeah.
Because we're tying our self-worth to the business.
Yes.
And the business isn't who we are. And so what things can you find that truly make you happy and that truly makes your heart sing and your spirit rejoice? And then I think when you can show up that way for yourself, Michelle, then you could show up a lot differently for all those around you in your business.
That's a big lesson for a lot of people to learn, that their identity is not attached to their profession.
It is very difficult.
It's very difficult. And I think it's more difficult, or, well, maybe not more difficult. I guess I wouldn't know because I've been in a service industry, but it's most common, I think, or very, when you're in a service industry, that you're serving people. Because part of how, well, at least how I was raised is that, be of service to others, that it's the right thing to do, to be of service to others and to be a giving person and to be charitable and to do the right thing and to help other people. And when your career is aligned with helping people, that can easily attach to your identity. So having to separate that it's work.
It sure is. And it's I think it's actually easier to get sucked in than it is to not allow yourself to get sucked in. I think you actually have to work on not getting sucked in
Yes.
to it.
Yes. Yeah, you do. You really do. You have to, at some point, rise above being of service and be like an observer of your own interaction with your serving people and what they like and how it's affecting you and the rest of your life. And that's what I think was part of the fear about, if I'm going to redefine what things look like for me, I want to make sure that I'm doing it in the right spirit and that it's not attached to my identity and that it's done with maybe a bit more balance and grace for myself.
Of
Self-love,
course.
with more self-love.
Self love, giving yourself grace. Yeah, it's something that's not really talked about that much, but here we are.
It's really not talked about much. I mean, this is, I think, quite a taboo conversation, actually, that we just found ourselves in, is that, you and I being very successful salespeople and professionals, it comes with a lot. You just said this morning, you were talking to your business coach, right? Your real estate. It comes often with the list of things to do to, quote unquote, build a successful business and be successful. And as you said a moment ago, one size doesn't fit all, but you're given a bit of advice that's going to grow, and you want to march to those orders for the sake of growth, but keeping hold of your identity in the midst of that can be challenging.
I think that becoming self aware
Yeah.
is critical to growth,
Yes.
and looking in the mirror and really saying, okay, well, that didn't work. This didn't work. And all of it is me.
Mhm.
So, what do I have to start doing or stop doing? Well, what do you have to start doing, stop doing? Not that it's negative, but it just is. And don't give a context to it.
Right.
Because what might be negative turned inside out, there's a silver lining
Mhm.
that comes.
Yes.
And maybe that's the growth that is required for this year, is whatever that silver lining is that comes from it. And then maybe that's what is needed to go to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that can't happen until
You have got to, the shortest way out is through. You got to go through the lessons. The shortest way out is through. So you have to move through the experience to get the lesson. And sometimes we just want to speed that up and just get to the point.
So somebody I'm good friends with
Yeah.
sent me this morning. He said, what do you think about my revised Happy New Year's message? This is his message. I hope this is the most difficult year of your life. There is meaning in suffering, and if there is too much happiness, then all the worst sins creep in. I hope it's a year of pain, suffering, work, rational, and yet still virtue. I wish you a year of love and meaning despite your sufferings.
You got to share that with me. That's really good. That's true. I think we've experienced that in the real estate industry quite a bit, that we've had it good for a long time. The market's been going up in, well, Detroit market since 2011. It's been going up since 2011. That's like what, 12 years of a straight run, and 13 years, whatever, depends on how you look at it. So really good for a long time. And sometimes that can bring up when it's too good for too long and too easy for too long, because it's easy to go by assumptions and take things for granted.
Well, as that always is, for sure. We have to grow through it, though. Your growth comes through your personal growth and suffering. So without suffering, there is no sense of resilience. So suffering gives us perspective and resilience. That old cliche of a saying, Michelle, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And there's a lot of truth and validity in that statement. We wouldn't know, it's like you don't love the sunshine if you haven't experienced the rain. So as a metaphor for life, remembering there's always not going to be happy times in business and happy times in life.
Yep.
There's going to be challenging times, but the key in the challenge is to continue to get up and keep going no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the marker of it. It's how often can you keep getting up despite getting knocked down. But what you said earlier, you also have to recognize if you are running into a brick wall over and over again. Like, I think it's important what you said. I mean, there's the try, which is very important and to fail. But then there's also the point where you need to like recognize, okay, hang on, maybe this isn't meant for me because it's not coming with ease. Like it's not anything. I mean, it's double sword, like to find.
No, you're right. It's not coming with ease, and that is what I've accepted
Yeah.
in my business. It's not coming with ease. And trying to put the round peg in a square hole isn't working. And so,
Yeah.
my thoughts around that are stop,
Yeah.
take a step back, do what you do best, whatever your core competency is,
Mhm.
leave the other stuff to the side. And maybe things need to be, maybe things have to, you have to live your life more. For me, I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
I have to live my life more. Maybe it's when living my life more and having more enjoyment in my journey, that will show up differently. Or maybe when that shows up differently, different people will show up.
Yep.
Just maybe.
I 100% believe that, by the way. I 100% believe that. I believe that the more joy that you allow in by living your life, then more joy will find you in other avenues of your life as well. I absolutely believe that.
It's virtually impossible not to eventually, because if we are living our true self in authenticity, then come out, right? So, and I'll use an example. What did we do as a kid? We had fun.
Right.
We rode our bikes.
Yes.
We did dangerous things like cross the bike on the avenue when a red light, which now, like, I'm saying, I'm kidding, Gen Xers, right? We were out from the morning until it was time, and then back out in the street until it was too dark to be out anymore.
We jumped fences.
Played jacks and Chinese rope and double dutch and
Yeah.
all stuff. No TVs, very
No.
little TV in the
Yeah.
summer. You were
Mhm.
outside playing, you were in the outdoors, you were having fun with your friends. You had fun.
Yep.
You went swimming. We went swimming to the local pool.
Yep.
We didn't have a pool. We lived in the city.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is, then somewhere down the line, over the last 32 years in sales, I lost some of the fun, Michelle.
Right.
And so, what are things that you love to do? Right? So the Be the Solution podcast isn't about, just real estate. It's about life, right? So
Yeah.
life has it impacts us through life. And this is all about like the mindset of it, and how this is what's happening here between ear and ear is the most important real estate you own. And what you allow in and who you surround yourself with affects your outcome. So if
Mhm.
you have like negative Nellies in your organization, or just bad attitude or whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't care if it's like, you take a piece of fruit, a whole basket of fruit, you put one bad apple next to the apples and the oranges and the lemons, and the next day you come in and they all have little mold on them, just like people.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing, I recognize that I'm not good at either removing people quickly enough to not poison the other apples.
Right.
That's
Yep.
something that, and I think that's part of the fear of abandonment that I have. So being abandoned, even though I know that this person isn't the right person,
Yeah.
people want the right people to be here. They're kind of Debbie Downers or drama queens or whatever name you want to give that person. And for some reason, I have not made hard enough decisions to exit quicker.
Yes.
I
And that
think
and I think that that's from maybe abandonment issues or whatever, concern over being, left. But it's funny because I could say the same thing about not getting rid of the toxic or negative people, or the fruit with mold on it fast enough, is because I want those people to turn that frown upside down. We all have moments of negativity best in people that, we're able to turn that around, or to turn the negative into a positive. So again, here we go, walking that line of removing the fruit from the full because it's getting a bit moldy, versus, hang on, we can just clean this little piece of mold off, like clean it up, nip it in the bud, maybe cut out this little bad spot on the apple, and we're fine. And we're fine. I get that little apple, and we're going to be, well, we'll be fine. Still edible. We're good. So it's always like trying to find out, like, okay, how long till you got to remove that apple from the bowl?
Yeah. Well, we can't fix other people. That's the thing. And we're fixers. So you can't change if they have integrity or not. They're going to do the right thing. Those things, you can't change their character.
Nope.
So these are hard lines in the sand. They have to be drawn, and we stop making excuses for it. So part of that is the upfront process. So we missed something along the way. I say we got tricked, because we like to believe that everybody's a good person.
We'd like everybody, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's part of a little bit of being naive, I guess, in the sense of, wanting the best for others, hoping the best for others, seeing the best in others in spite of themselves, but we can't do the work for others. That's the thing.
Right.
We can't take the action. And the only thing that's going to change moving forward is them taking the action. We can give a bar belief, right? Motivations you need to have every day. It can't just be like once in a while. People always ask, why are you always so motivated? I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's motivation. Get up and do. You just go.
Yeah, you're like, it's not motivation, it's me. I'm just wired that way. Right.
Well, when you come to a realization that you're meant on this earth for a reason, and to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can, and to improve every day, then you want to improve every day.
Yeah.
Until you believe that, I think it's hard to make the declaration of improvement on a daily basis.
I made that declaration about be better today than I was yesterday, like in my 20s. I made that declaration to myself a long time ago. And it's funny because at the same time, I feel like every day I'm still waking up to that realization. Like, I made that commitment to myself to be better, today than I was yesterday. But every day that my feet hit the ground, it's like I get new insights as to what that really means for me.
Of course, it's a journey. The journey will continue until
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
That's right. Until it doesn't.
It doesn't. And so is enjoy the journey, step back, take it all in, slow. I know it's a different cadence. I'm going with it, Michelle.
Good. I'm glad. When you go slow, you get to feel more. Like yesterday morning, I did my morning meditation, and then I went looking for a phone charger, and I was like, oh, I have extra, like, just random chargers. And come on, everybody has this box, right? Or junk drawer of
Yes.
random pods and chargers. What does this go to? And whatever.
Just stuff that we don't even know why we still have it, but we know it works somehow.
It plugs into something somewhere. So,
exactly.
And I was like, oh, those cords and the electronic stuff, it's in the closet. A book, the Motivation Manifesto by Brandon Bouchard, I think.
Brandon Bouchard, yeah.
Was sitting on top, and it was like there's a box of books next to it. And I thought I donated a bunch of books just like the end of last year. Like, I just have a free, take these good books, like just, bring them to the office, people take them. And I'm like, oh, I didn't donate this box of books that's next to these cords and chargers. And I would encourage everyone here on this podcast just to read that opening chapter of the Motivation Manifesto. And he talks about, it struck me so good yesterday. He talks about, cultivating that power that's in the mirror and that self-responsibility that we have. I mean, we are all created equal, right? And we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and what's required for that to really be. And what's required for that to really happen and to be is honestly to feel those moments, to because just like I said a few moments ago, that if you are looking to have a great year, you're going to have to move through experiences to get the lessons. Well, how do you move through to get the lessons? You pay attention to what's happening in the moment and you really feel what's going on. You're not going to feel if you're moving too fast. You're not going to feel it if you're moving too fast. You have to be present.
Let's say it again. You're not going to feel it if you're moving too fast to get the lesson,
You're not,
right?
not, you're not going to feel it.
Because you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it because you're paying attention. You're on to the next thing.
Correct.
And the next thing is the shiny object that we all so love to chase.
Correct. Yes. And
there is no such thing as an object. It's just a diversion from your true self, from walking in the pain, walking through the fear, having, I guess, would say, eyes wide open.
I think when you just said walking through the pain and walking through the fear, there are very few people that are willing to do that are willing to walk through the pain and fear. I believe that there are many people who would rather stuff it down, ignore the pain, pretend it doesn't exist, push it to the side, bury it with a drink and small talk, you know, and not really take the time to go into it and look at it and examine it with curiosity. And I've been spending a lot of time, I meditate daily now, going into some of those dark places and really examining myself and taking a hard look at that. And I believe the people that are willing to spend time in contemplation and self examination are the true warriors because you're focused on mastering self. It's not about controlling external environments, it's about controlling the most difficult environment of all, the one that goes on inside of you.
So good. It is the most difficult environment of all.
Oh,
People only heard what was going on in my head.
yeah. I mean, what did God like? I don't care what religion you study. I mean, if you're searching for truth and you're searching for God, where's the best place to hide the answers? Inside. No one's going to look there. Nobody's going to look there.
Nobody's going to look there. Until you do.
Until you do. Yeah. Very few people will look there to find it.
No. That's where it all comes from.
So 2024, I think more self-reflection. I definitely more self-reflection, which leads to awareness, which leads to what do you really want? What do you really want? That kind of all full circle now.
That's right. So that's where I'm looking into 2024 is what is it that I really want? And Michelle, you know, we've both been in the industry for
a long time,
20 years plus.
Yes.
So, and these things that we are looking at now have been there, some of them for longer than others. And so we're not going to solve the problem in January.
Right.
But, you know, the other thing, not just solving the problem, but I'm going to say this. You can't just do a 180-degree turn.
No.
So I look at it like the value of the compound of, okay, so little thing can I get from this? Okay, great. Let's do that or not do that or whatever. And then what's the next little thing, right? Because you can't just be like, okay, all bets are off. Let's, I'm just going to change 180 degrees.
Right.
It's not realistic. It doesn't work. It's a very, I don't even know, difficult's not even the right word, but I think traumatic is a better word.
Yeah.
To make those types of decisions like that very, very quickly and all at the same time. Bad. Could lead to like breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're setting yourself up for failure, I think.
Yes.
And
Yeah, setting yourself up for failure. So just sitting in it and just like waiting patiently for it to float up and go, and you're like, I see.
Yep. There it is with ease and right in front of my face and so obvious.
So that's the thing that I am looking for this year, Michelle, is ease. Organic, ease, slow, heartfelt interactions, heart centered
Yeah.
leadership, heart centered service, and yeah, hoping
I
for the
love
best.
I love all of that. And I hadn't heard your goals for 2024 yet, and it makes me smile because a lot of the same things. And I'm happy to hear it. And I don't know if we want, that's what seems to be the call on, maybe it's people our age or the call of the world right now, but I personally feel a shift towards more open heart centered living, like, and I'm seeing that reflected back in my friends and my circles and people that I know, which couldn't make me more happy to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. I read, I was actually listening to a podcast last Friday at my lab, and he had like a compilation of all these different guests. I think there were 12 over the last year. And the one guy, Ryan, what's his last name? Williams? He was on The Office. He has a company called Soul Pancake,
Oh,
and the book's called Soul Boom. And so what he was talking about is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
yeah.
And so that resonated with me greatly. And
Hmm.
I went to my mother-in-law's on Sunday, and she's all these books everywhere, piled little piles, nice little piles. So I look and I'm like, that's that book. I was just gonna order. She's like, oh, you can have it. I said, I'll give it back to you. I said, did you like the book? It was fabulous. So that's on my to do list, reading that. And I think that, Michelle, it's interesting how, you're in same similar alignment. And I'm not sure why it's happening now. I just know that it's where I need to go and what I need to do.
Hmm.
And I am stopping the pushing. And I mean that by, you know, I try and try and try and try and keep failing. And so I'm just going to stop
Yeah.
with that thing that I'm failing at
Yeah.
and kind of sit on it for a moment in time and see where it takes me.
That's
Where,
courageous. That's courage. Because if you're trying, it's most likely because it's worked past. So then there's going to be a surrender and a letting go. And surrender and letting go is, oh my God, it's so scary. I want to, I want to send this. I just sent it to my friend the other day. Because when you're just giving up on trying, you know, this is what was given to me. It's letting go. Bear with me. It's a little bit long, but it's good, and I'll share it with you. Letting go does not mean stop caring. It means I can't do it for somebody else. Letting go is not to enable, but it's to allow learning from natural consequences. To let go is to admit powerlessness, which means the outcome is not in my hands. That's a big one.
mm,
To let go is not to try to change or blame another, it's to make the most of myself. To let go is not to care for, but to care about. To let go is not to fix, but to be supportive. To let go is not to judge, but to allow another to be a human being. To let go is not to be in the middle of arranging all the outcomes, but to allow others to affect their own destinies. To let go is not to be protective, but it's to permit another to face reality. To let go is not to deny, but to accept. To let go is not to nag, scold, or argue, but instead to take each day as it comes and to cherish myself in it. To let go is not to regret the past, but to grow and live for the future. To let go is to fear less and love more.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
So many, gosh, it's definitely something. Well, one, you need to send it to me.
I will
And
do
I
that.
hope people listening to this,
Mm.
or listeners, really get a lot from that and taking notes feverishly over here
Yeah.
about letting go and let go. And I say this, let God.
Let go, let God. Like you said, go is like it's surrender and it's courageous. Like because there's a lot of consequences to that. Like you're going with the flow and slowing down, and that's letting go of moving fast and pushing hard. Whew.
It's a different thing, Michelle.
It's all new. It's a whole new world.
It's a different thing, trying something new.
Yep.
Since the
That's
other
it.
stuff hasn't worked in the way that I want it to work. Look, don't get me wrong. We run a successful business. It's not in spite of some new, but
Mhm.
it's not about that. It's about being 100% in alignment in who I am as a human.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think authenticity is a beautiful badge of honor.
and it's so wasted. It's so wasted for the people because if you were just you, I wonder what your life really would be like instead of wearing the mask. Vulnerability helps you to connect with others on a different level,
It does.
right? But I think that's a little bit of a challenge in the real estate industry. There's an ego, there's a persona, there's a me, I'm great. I sold 300 homes last year. Nobody
Mhm.
really cares.
I
They
I
really don't care, and that you sold 300 and you have 70 people on your team. Nobody gives a
your Leona Marie Weiss, she post and I yesterday. She did a post and it's a picture of her for the new year, and it says 2023 year in review. Number of homes sold, nobody cares. Total volume sold, doesn't matter. Made a difference in people's lives, yes. I'm so excited to be focused on what really matters in 2024. I'm still a realtor and I'm still selling houses. And she is a producer and she sells a lot of real estate. And oh my God, did that go viral? Um, you wouldn't believe the comments that she got on that. And people who were saying, well, it does matter because people want to hire people who, put up good numbers and have great production and, whatever. But yeah, I was like, that to me is, you know, she's not looking to fill herself up with things that no longer matter to her. She's focused on filling her heart with the things that are most important to her heart.
seems like there's some of that going around.
That's what I'm saying. It's the newest.
Somebody gave us some kind of pixie dust or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should be
I
checking
don't
what.
know. This is the first time though that I'm really experiencing this.
It's a very exciting time.
Very excited. Very, very excited. I'll tell you a short little story
Yeah.
before we wrap it up. But I was singing at our club on New Year's Day. They have a as part of the activities,
Okay.
all kinds of activities for 2,000 people in the club. Okay.
Okay.
So I go to sing along. I said, Chip, let's go. Let's go down the hall to the sing along. Went down and I sat like at the table in front of where the singers were singing,
Mhm.
who were leading the sing along. And they were members of the Union League Voices Club.
Okay.
So I'm singing, belting it out, all kinds of songs, Yankee Doodle, Hey Jude,
Yeah.
Auld Lang Syne, all these songs. So
Okay.
after it's done, somebody was taking their picture, and I was still sitting there, and I was just like standing there. And they're like, you have to join. You have to join the club. So they heard me singing. And so then I saw another guy. He's like, oh my God, you have to join the club. So I love to sing. And I'm
Okay.
like, why don't I do that? Why don't I sing? Like,
Yeah.
because I'm working still, right? So I looked it up, and the singing, they do practicing because there's 2 shows a year they do, spring and then a Christmas one, and then they do the sing along, but that's different. So they meet every Tuesday night, September through May,
Mhm.
and practice 1 hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's something joyful, right? Because I only sing right now, besides at my house by my, at my house, whatever. Anyway, need to know all those details. But at church, so I'll sing the church songs, the music of church. And so there's no other, I've not been using another outlet. And I'm like, I really need to do things that I like to do. I mean, for the last 20 years, like real estate, work,
Yeah.
work. So, and, don't get me wrong, we traveling and things, but not nearly as much as the work I've done. And
Right.
I think it's all connected and telling us something, Michelle. Us to listen to our hearts, be quiet, be present, listen, and
Mhm.
do what resonates with you,
Yes.
and leave everything else behind.
Yep. That's it. That's it. That's 100% it. I'm excited for you. It's in May. This group.
No, it's starting now.
Oh, it
It's
starts now.
September through May. And then they take the summer off. People go down to the shore here.
September. That's in 10. That's 9 months.
No, no,
Like,
no. You can join anytime.
oh, you join it. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good. You signed up then?
I'm going to be there Tuesday.
All right. Good.
It's in the schedule.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, so I'll let
You
you know
should.
about that.
You should. I cut my workout short on the row machine yesterday by 1 minute because a good song came on, and I decided to abandon the row machine and just dance.
And there you have it.
Still
Which
count. Yeah.
sounds crazy that we would just abandon one
The
more
row
minute.
machine for
But
the,
it's really not. It's okay.
it's okay.
You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to dance, and I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
We have to, you know, dance more,
Yeah.
love more, sing more, do more things that make our heart sing, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what this lesson today is all about: getting clarity, being at peace, being present, and listening to our inner voice.
Absolutely. I'm
And
excited.
yes, I'm excited for you, Michelle. And with that being said, thank you so much on being on the Be the Solution podcast, my first guest of 2024. And where can people find you, Michelle, if they want to send you a referral or just reach out?
Yes. So I was going to put my cell phone number in the chat on the preview thing here, and I didn't, but my cell phone is, I'll give it here, 313-622-1609. And you can find me on all the websites. I don't care if you just want to even Google my name, you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have my own website. So you just type Michelle Saward Realtor in there, and you will find me on any platform that you wish. I'm not big on LinkedIn, and I'm not on TikTok, but there you go. I do have a LinkedIn, but I don't check it. Anyway.
I'm thankful and grateful, Michelle, for you today. Not just today, for our friendship that we've had for many years. But thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Maria. Take care.